Hybrid maize seed production involves deliberately crossing a female parent plant with a male parent plant on a different field. My name is Ayunam, and this is the Ghanaian farmer. This week, we put the spotlight on maize variety development or maize breeding, and we are all the way in Crops Research Institute in Fumeswa and Kumasi in the Ashanti region. We are going to be talking to Dr. Alan Opon, who is a research scientist, to tell us more about the process, the stages they go through to produce or develop one particular hybrid seed for you to grow as a farmer. This is a subject that needs to interest a maize farmer or a potential maize farmer and agric enthusiast. Wherever it is you're watching us from, let's hear from you. Share your views, your questions with us on our social media platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and on Twitter. I'm going for a quick bit, and when I come back, Dr. Opon will be joining me to tell me more about the variety of seed development here in Ghana. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. So, for a normal person who hears the word maize variety development or maize breeding, what exactly are we driving at?
Yes, thank you. What we are looking at is that we are looking for a new variety that farmers can plant that will yield better in terms of disease resistance, in terms of maturity, in terms of height, and all those attributes that are better than what we have already.
Presently, how many maize varieties do we have that farmers are growing all over the country?
We have a lot of varieties. Our institute alone has released over 60 maize varieties. We have our sister institution at SARI. They have also released more than 20, 30. So if you put everything together, we're talking about maybe hundreds of whatever. But actually, not all of them are on the market.
Okay.
Some have been bred. The process is that as you come out with better ones, the less better one is removed from the system. So always you're having kind of new, better varieties coming into the system.
Okay. So what are the methods to developing new varieties of maize?
Yes, there are several methods of developing new varieties of maize. But here, maybe let's focus on only the hybrid maize variety development. And it's a long process. If I put it in short, it can take about, say, 7 years to come.
7 years?
Yes.
To develop one variety?
Yes.
Okay.
And you start from, say, population, like you go collect seeds from everywhere.
Okay.
Then you bring them to the own station like this, at a place like here. And then you start a process we call selfing, or scientifically say inbreeding. So you serve the plants that you call your parents. You serve them repeated selfing, the same plant.
Okay.
So you can do that up to, say, 5 times or 6 times until you have stability of the inbred line. Then after, you start what you call hybridization, where you designate some of your self materials that you obtained as your male and others as your female. So then you cross the male with the female. Once you get the seed, these are like the seed.
Yeah.
You plant it. So we call it year to row. You plant it, and then you evaluate the offspring that will come.
Okay.
So the offspring evaluation is based on your objective.
Right.
The objective is, assuming my objective is to come out with a variety that's intermediate in maturing, then I should be looking for that.
Okay.
When the plant will mature.
Right.
If I'm looking for a variety that is disease resistant, then I should be looking for that.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to even challenge it with a particular disease. If I say challenge it, you have to apply the disease of that particular to the plant.
Okay.
To see how they respond.
Right.
Along a series of the courses.
Okay.
So you'll be doing all these things on station. Then as you move year by year, assuming you started by, say, 200, 300, then you'll be removing some, because some will not
Withstand.
will not pass the test.
Okay.
So then the number will be reducing,
Right.
until you come out to say maybe about 10, 5, whatever.
Okay.
Then you take them to different locations, agroecologists. Go and test them there also and see how they will perform.
Okay.
Then after, you engage farmers. You give some of the seeds that you, the hybrids that you've done for them to also plant on their fields and see their performance against their checks, like what they are normally used. So then you take, you'll be taking data. Then after all this process, then you come out with maybe 2 or 3 that you think from all the trials and all the analysis and everything that it has gone through, these maybe 2 or 3 are standing out.
Okay.
And then those are the ones that you propose to the National Variety Release Committee.
Okay.
For them to come and see and then evaluate. And if they are found suitable, then they release it to the Ghanaian market.
Okay. But what is the objective, or what is the importance of these process that you're talking about?
Yes, the process is important. Otherwise, how can I be sure that the variety that I'm giving to you is true to type?
Right.
If I don't test it, I wouldn't know how it performs. So I have to test it and test it and test it and realize that actually it's stable.
Okay.
And once I give it out, anytime I go anywhere, or I give it to a seed grower who is producing the seed, I can just confirm that yes, this variety is this.
Okay.
So that the market is not deceived. Otherwise, somebody can just go and pick anything and come and tell you that this is a particular variety. But once you don't have any information on it, you don't have any benchmark to compare with.
Okay.
So it's important to go through all these processes. And then, aside even that, that is what will help you to know which of them is better.
Okay.
And then you identify those ones.
Okay.
For release.
In your, whilst you're talking, you mentioned hybrid. Do we have, why is the traditional seeds out of the system now? All we have is just the hybrid?
No, the traditional is not out of the system. Even now, farmers are more or less, say they are planting more of their farmer safety seeds.
Right.
We call them open pollinated varieties. Yes, farmers are into that, but that is not the best.
Is it more yielding just like the hybrid?
No.
Why?
The hybrids are more yielding than the normal OPVs.
Seeds.
Normal OPVs.
Okay.
Yes, but now we realize that if you keep on producing those OPVs with increasing population and climate change and all those things, we can have food shortage. So the hybrid is more productive. So we want, if we can get, every farmer will be going hybrid.
Okay.
So that's why we are coming out with more hybrid varieties.
Right.
Such that it will be widely available. And every farmer will go and buy and plant it. Because we are sure that once you plant a hybrid variety, you produce much better than when you plant an OPV. Okay.
Now, I also want to know about the duration. When you collect your samples and go through all this test and all that, how long does it stay on your field for before it is given to seed producers or the authority you mentioned to now take it to farmers?
Yes, so as I stated the process that it can last for
7 years?
7 years.
Okay.
Yes, so the process will start and you go through like surfing, crossing, you select, you do multi-location, farmers will come in, the Varietal Release Committee too will come in, they will approve it. Once that one is done, then you have to multiply the seeds.
Okay.
Because assuming, like, say we have this one,
right.
this one we have here, at the end of the day, farmers say this one is better.
Okay.
I don't have more seeds of this because normally we don't produce much seeds. We call it breeder seeds. They are small in quantity.
Okay.
But farmers need more quantities.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to plant.
Yes.
So it will also take another time, like another period, for us to multiply it to get larger quantities.
Okay.
So that one you can even take up to 3 years.
Okay. Okay.
All
right. In that case, you mentioned about testing or even applying disease to the crop to see how it will react and those that will stand and all that. How come we still have farmers who plant these varieties you have released and they still have challenges with pest attack and all that.
Yes. Normally, the pest attack, there are, say, new emerging pests.
Okay.
And there are existing ones.
Yes.
So normally the existing ones, we take care of them. Like the process, we take care of them. But the new emerging ones are where the challenge is.
Okay.
Like if you take the case of fall armyworm.
Right.
Fall armyworm was not in the system. It just came and then started attacking maize. So it is up to that point that breeding will start to respond to how to control it with varieties.
Right.
So if it happens that it's along the line, the variety had already been developed, then a new disease comes. Then definitely, if the plant doesn't have that shock inbuilt already, then it will succumb.
Okay.
Okay. And sometimes for the pest to, we call something mutation.
Right.
That also happens. It's natural phenomenon. So maybe as you develop the varieties, the pests, they are dying. So they will also find a means to survive. So they change their DNA just to overcome
the crop.
The crop.
Okay.
And then they will survive.
Okay.
So that's also there.
I see the pests are giving you a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Okay. Now when we're walking into the farm, I realized there were some brown envelopes covering some part of the plant or the crop. What is the essence of that? What are you collecting?
Yes. I told you for the breeding, we go through a series of activities.
Yes.
We do pollination.
Yes.
We do pollen collection. The pollination we do is artificial.
Okay.
For the hybrid, you have to do artificial pollination for a period manually.
Okay.
Like you do it.
Right.
You don't leave it to nature.
Okay. You don't leave it to the bees.
No, this one no bees. It's
okay.
Wind.
Okay.
For me, it's wind.
Okay, the wind will carry from one side to the other. Okay, but this time you hold it, two people,
yes,
and
so
then
you collect the pollen.
Okay.
In the brown
envelope
you saw.
Okay.
And then you go and intentionally put it on the silk.
Okay.
So this is the female part.
Yes.
You put it on the silk. And then you know that I collected this pollen from plant A.
Yes.
And this female is plant B.
Okay.
You know it.
Right.
So you keep records. And then the pollination is done.
Okay.
After that, you cover it again.
Right.
And wait for it to mature.
So at what point of the day, if I'm supposed to go and collect this and then come and put it on this person, what time of the day do I do that?
The pollen collection is done in the morning.
Okay.
Around 6 a.m.
Right.
So the technicians will come around 6 a.m. Before they will put the parcel bag, they will put the brown envelope
over it.
Over the parcel.
Okay. And then they come back to remove it at what time?
At around midday.
Midday.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how long do you do that for?
No, it depends.
Or how many times do you do it for a male and then bring it to a female? For one particular plant, how long?
No, for the pollination, it's done only once.
Only once?
Yes.
Okay.
But you see that I have series of plants. So maybe I will have enough pollen to do maybe 10 today. So the others I couldn't do.
Okay.
So I'll come the following day
and
then continue.
Okay.
Until when all the pollen is shed.
Okay.
And then the silk is matured. Then
right. But leaving your pollination to the wind versus artificially doing it, which one is more effective?
If I leave it to the wind, I won't get any results.
Is it for you breeders or it is for farmers? Because I didn't see my dad.
No, for the farmers, you just leave it.
You leave it to the wind.
Yes, but
for
the
breeding,
your
system,
yes, because
you have to do it artificially.
That's where I will know which is the father, which is the mother.
Okay. All right. Now, you talk about hybrid. And one thing that you hear farmers will talk about, hybrid is boarding. It's expensive. So I rather do extraction of, and this year they are super. So he will take some of it, keep it and plant the next season. But the hybrid one is expensive. Why are your hybrid seeds expensive? If you want farmers to buy hybrid, why is it expensive?
The breeding process is expensive.
The breeding process is expensive.
That's one. And then the actual seed production is also expensive.
Okay.
Because I told you develop inbred lines.
Yes.
Okay, maybe before we go there, for the hybrid, you have different types of hybrids.
Okay.
You have single cross, three-way, and then a double. So depending on which of them, it's always expensive.
Okay.
Because the inbred line, normally the yields are low. especially if you are doing single cross, the yields are low. So assuming if you plant a hybrid, you can get 10 tons per hectare.
Okay.
But if you plant the inbred line, if you are lucky, you get 1 ton.
If a farmer plants
Inbred line.
Inbred line,
yes,
which is the regular seed.
No, the inbred line is for what you use to produce the hybrid.
Okay. If I plant that one, just 1 ton.
Yes.
But if it's hybrid, I'll get about 10.
You can get 10.
Okay.
So, assuming you are spending the same amount of resources,
yes,
money, pesticide, whatever, to get 1 ton.
Why don't I rather spend it on the hybrid?
Why don't they maybe go for OPV?
Okay.
Because the OPV, the yield will not be, say, 10 tons. You will get maybe around 4 5. So if I get 4 5, it's still higher than the 1 ton.
Right.
So for the seed grower, so if I'm spending all these resources to come out with 1 ton, and I'm going to sell it, I have to take care of my expenditure and profit margins.
Right.
And so that's what makes the hybrid seed expensive.
Okay.
But when the farmer plants it, he buys it at an expensive price. He's going to get better.
Okay.
Because the OPV will give him, say, 5 tons. The hybrid can give him 7, 8, 9 if you do good agronomy. Good fertilizer application, weed control, and all those things. You get high productivity.
Okay.
So then it takes care of the cost.
Right. Okay, so you are still watching the Ghanaian Farmer on Joy Prime Television. My name is Enyonam, and our focus today is on seed variety development or maize breeding. And we are talking to Dr. Allen Opon. He's a crop research scientist. He's also into maize breeding and pathology. The brofo is too big for me. We are all the way from Mesua and Kumasi in the Ashanti region, and so we found ourselves in the. So what do you call this place?
Yes, the research fields of CSR.
So this is the research
fields of CSR crop research.
So this is where they do the trials,
yes,
okay,
yes,
over and over again. Before the end of the day, they tell that the seed is ready for your usage. So if you are a maize farmer or you are aspiring to become a maize farmer, this is some of the information you need to have at your fingertips, so that when you step out there, whilst you're preparing your land, you know what you're going for. So I'm going to go back to Doc, and then we'll talk about, you can see 2 colors of maize I'm holding. I'm going for a quick breather. When I come back, I'll be talking to Doc about why do we have 2 colors? Which one yields more? And which one is what for human consumption, for livestock consumption, and then the land preparation and even some agronomy practice, some tips that he can give a maize farmer so that henceforth this year, as we've started planting, you know, the yield will be better than the previous years. I'll be right back after this break. Thanks for staying. If you just tuned in, you're watching the Ghanaian Farmer TV show on Joy Prime Television, and our focus today is on maize breeding or maize variety development, so that farmers across the entire of Ghana can grow maize and be excited at the result at the end of the day. And the person, one of the persons who is in charge of this whole process is who we are talking with, Dr. Allen Opon. Doc, so we have 2 different colors of maize. You are holding the yellow, I'm holding the white. Why do we have 2 colors?
Okay, we have more than 2 colors actually.
Okay.
Yes, some are even purple. Some are mix of white and
yes, I've seen them. Yes.
So here, each of them had their own attributes.
Okay.
Like I was saying initially, the yellow ones are most often used by the for
livestock farmers.
Livestock
that
farmers.
Is poultry.
Poultry.
Okay.
And livestock.
Right.
And for the white ones, it's mainly also eaten for food
consumption by humans. Okay.
But it doesn't mean that the yellow humans cannot eat.
Okay.
Humans can eat. Even this one is more nutritious than this one.
Okay.
But because of cultural perceptions and all those things, Ghanaians prefer the white ones.
Okay.
But even now we are trying to encourage Ghanaians to take the yellow ones.
The yellow.
Because of the beta carotene.
Okay.
So, they have some levels of beta carotene. So it makes it more nutritious. And then the poultry farmers also need it to get the yellow color of the egg.
Okay. Among these 2, which one yield more?
Normally, the white ones has a yield advantage than the yellow one.
So the white yield more than the yellow.
Yes.
Do they have the same growth, maturity, duration to grow?
It depends.
Okay.
And you can have white and yellow having the same maturity.
Okay.
And you can have maybe another white and another another white and white
Right.
having different maturity periods.
Okay.
So the objective is that it's not that maybe the white has shorter period or longer period. They all have shorter ones and longer ones.
Okay. And among these two, which one is more expensive?
In terms of the
Cost?
The farmers who are buying, no, the consumers, the consumers, this one is expensive.
The yellow is expensive than this one?
Yes.
Okay. If I'm going to a commercial maize production, which variety do you suggest I go for?
That one will depend on you.
Okay.
It will depend on you, but if I'm in an area where there are a lot of poultry farmers, then I'll go for this one.
Okay.
If I'm in an area where people prefer the whites for consumption, and there are no poultry farms, then I'll go for the white.
Largely, so you're telling me the market target should determine which variety I'll go for.
Yes.
Okay, but when we're having the conversation, you also mentioned there's a short, there's an intermediate, and then a long term.
Yes.
As a commercial producer, which among these three stages do you suggest I go for, and why?
Okay, for me personally, I'll always go for the intermediate.
Why?
Why? Because the maize is classified early, intermediate, and late.
Okay.
The early ones, the maturity is around from 85 to say 90 days.
Okay.
And then the intermediate from 95 to 105.
Right.
And then up to 110 going is late.
Right.
Now, why am I choosing the intermediate? The question is, the longer the plant stays on the field, the bigger the produce.
Okay.
So if it stays longer in the soil, like assuming they have all good varieties that is good for, then it's most likely the long period one to produce larger crops. But that will go at the expense of maintenance, maybe irrigation costs, if there's lack of rain and all those things, it will affect it.
Okay.
But normally the differences among them is not too huge.
Okay. Okay.
So then if you take the intermediate one, then you'll be getting yields very close or even sometimes almost the same as the late ones. And it's better than the early ones.
Okay. All right. So, Doc, what are some of the agronomy practices should a farmer, stay religious to? So at the end of the day, they can get the best yield. Because you hear, I don't know if you've ever heard, a farmer will say, oh, me koto hybrid, but still, it was still just like I'm using the old seed. What are some of these 1, 2, 3 agronomy practices that you would have recommended?
Yes, for hybrid, they need good nutrition. That's how we call it.
Good nutrition?
Yes.
And the nutrition are what exactly? Fertilizer?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you don't apply high levels of fertilizer, then you will not get what you are expecting.
Okay.
So the ability of hybrid is able to utilize the fertilizer better. So the more you give it fertilizer, the more it's able to produce.
Okay.
And then that's where you are going to get the returns.
Okay.
But if you buy the seed at an expensive price and you don't give it any fertilizer, then it means that you will not get the benefit. That's aside that. Then it comes to weed control.
Okay.
Weed control is also very important.
Right.
And even for the fertilizer application, the time you apply the fertilizer,
it also matters.
It matters.
Okay.
It matters a lot.
Right. Is it at the beginning or the middle or the end?
Maybe if you can be observant, you can see that. You see this one, the leaves are more greener.
Yes.
Compared to this one.
Yes. These are a bit yellow.
A bit.
Okay.
So what happened is that this one we planted the fertilizer together
with the crop
when we were planting the seed.
Okay.
And then after 15 days, we did the second fertilizer application.
Okay.
These ones, the fertilizer were applied after 14 days after emergence. And then I think 20 days later, the second one was applied.
Okay.
So the timing is important.
Okay. So it means that the farmer should have a fertilizer plan as well.
Yes.
Okay. All right. It all matters.
It matters. And then the weed control. Then it comes to the fall armyworm. Because now we don't have varieties that are fall armyworm resistant.
Okay.
We are now trying to
develop some.
So
okay.
it means all the varieties we have to do fall armyworm control.
We can't wait for that day. A day where breeders will tell us that, hey, this maize variety, if you grow, go and sleep. No fall armyworm will come and attack you. We are waiting for that day. But what are some of the challenges associated with your line of work?
The challenge is basically funding.
Funding?
Yes.
But you get, you say when you say researchers, there are plenty more people they give you.
Plenty money from where? Plenty money from where?
So funding is largely your challenge?
It's a bit local. I was telling you.
Okay.
A student came here, he was into agri-economics.
Okay.
And he was trying to quantify the cost involved in breeding a variety. And even because normally we don't take the expenses like religiously.
Yeah.
But we are trying to estimate.
Okay.
So after the figures we got.
It was so huge.
So huge.
Why is it that expensive to develop a variety of maize? Why?
Why?
Is it in the collection of the samples or the logistics or the equipment or what?
They are all part of it.
Okay. All right.
They are all part of it. And even this trial, maintaining this trial, is a lot of money.
Okay.
Doing the process,
right,
the artificial pollination, you have to hire people.
You hire people to come and do the artificial. How many hours does it take to do one?
No,
is it long?
It's not long, but it depends on the size
of the farm.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And the number of genotypes involved. Like assuming I have say 1,000 embryo lines I'm evaluating. I'm evaluating to get maybe the 1,000 I will be reduced now to say maybe 10.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So then you can imagine the kind of activities that goes
into it. Okay. All right. So, Doc, thank you so much for spending your time with us today, enlightening us about how you can both these varieties and others that are out there for farmers to cultivate. But your last words to somebody who wants to go into maize farming for commercial purposes. Your last words to that person.
Yes, maize farming is lucrative. Not long ago, I think 2 weeks, we had a visitor from Brazil and we were like chatting. And he was explaining with us why most Ghanaian farmers don't make the profits.
Okay.
And one thing that he said that caught up with me was, here we don't want to spend money, but we want. But the main business is that the more you spend, the more you get.
Okay.
So if I buy seeds, he put it in percentage terms. He said spend 15% on seed, and then other expenditure spend the remaining say up to say 40%.
Okay. Okay.
And then the 40% means that in terms of volume. So if I have say 1 hectare, I buy quality seed that will cost me say 15%. I buy good fertilizer in moderate amounts. I do the weeding and everything. My yield is expected to be more than double.
Okay.
You see?
All right.
But if I go and I just put in small fertilizer and I expect then the yield will come back.
All right.
So
that's very good.
Spend more,
invest more, and then you get more. Okay. All right, that's fine. So Dr. Allen Opon, he's a crop research scientist, and he works with Crop Research Institute, Fumeswa, in Kumasi, in Ashanti region. My name is Ghanian. I believe today, at least myself, I have learned a lot about the processes they go through to get the variety that you have here. And he's also been generous to tell you about some of the agronomy practices, why you can choose this or you can choose that, everything that there is to know, all the tips. Oh, Doctor has been so merciful. He's broke down everything for us to understand in simple terms. So I'm going to take you right to where they are collecting the pollen so you can see how it looks like, and possibly doctor can demonstrate how they do the crossing here and there for you to also see, so you get to understand. He explained, but let's see the bit of demonstration. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I'll see you next week, but if you have further questions or you want to visit the CSRI people, you can Google them. They're on the internet, their numbers, direction, everything is there. You reach out to them. When you come and you're looking for Dr. Allen, he will be there to explain things to you further. But for now, thank you so much, Doc. Thank you. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you so much.